Nobody knows what happened to the Flannan Isles keepers' shorts. In December 1900, 3 lighthouse keepers finished their watch on the Flannan Isles, 7 miles off the coast of Scotland, and then vanished without a struggle, without a body, without a single footprint leading toward the sea, while a half-eaten meal sat cooling on the kitchen table, and one overturned chair told a story no one could finish. And that is the problem. James Ducat was the principal keeper, 43 years old, married with a family on the mainland. Thomas Marshall was the youngest, 28, filling in for a man on leave. Donald McArthur was the occasional keeper, brought in when the third man fell ill weeks earlier. On December 7th, the steamer Archtor passed the island at night and noted something wrong. The light was dark. Rough seas delayed any response for days. When the relief boat Hesperus finally approached on December 26th, no one came out to meet it. No flag was raised. No smoke rose from the chimney. The island looked from the water exactly like nothing. Joseph Moore, the relief keeper, went ashore alone. The gate was closed. The main door was closed. Inside, the clock had stopped. 2 sets of oilskins were missing from their hooks, the coats and boots worn for the worst weather. 1 set remained untouched, hanging exactly where it belonged. A chair near the kitchen table lay on its side. Nobody had righted it. Nobody had eaten the meal on the table. The beds, by most accounts, were made, the rooms in order, as though the men had simply stepped outside for a moment and never come back in. The last log entry, dated December 15th, read, "Storm finished, sea calm. God is over all." The search that followed covered every inch of a small, exposed rock. Searchers checked the crane at the west landing, the platform used to winch supplies up from the water, more than 100 feet above the sea. It was damaged, along with an iron railing bent flat, and rope lashed around a nearby box was found wrapped so tightly it had to be cut free. They checked the boat sheds. Nothing was missing there. They checked the cliffs, the crevices, the low ground where a man might shelter from wind. They found no bodies. Not that week, not that month, not ever. 3 men who had nowhere to go had simply gone, and the island kept no record of which direction. The leading theory arrived almost immediately, carried by the damage at the landing. Investigators pointed to a violent storm, logged by Ducat on the 12th and 13th, and proposed that 1 man went down to secure equipment at the crane, was struck by a rogue wave, and the other 2 went after him and were swept away in turn. It was tidy. It explained the missing oilskins, 2 men dressed for the weather rushing out. It explained the damage to the railing and the crane. For decades, it stood as the accepted answer, repeated in every retelling of the case. But the log worked against its own theory. The storm Ducat described was finished by the 13th. The final entry, written on the 15th, states plainly that the sea was calm. Remember, the running clock stopped mid-tick in a house where a meal sat untouched. That stillness belongs to a quiet day, not a storm. If the men vanished during a violent sea, the calm entry makes no sense. If they vanished after the storm passed on a calm day, there was no wave large enough to explain 3 trained keepers being swept off a landing they knew by memory. Met Office records for the region in that window showed nothing severe enough to account for it either way. The theory that solved the case could not survive its own evidence. Here is the detail that never fits, no matter which version you choose. 1 set of oilskins stayed on its hook. If all 3 men left together, chasing a storm or checking damage, why would one walk out into December wind on a Scottish rock wearing nothing at all? And if he did not go with them, where is he? No sighting, no return, no explanation for a single coat left hanging in an empty house on an island with nowhere to hide and no way off. Today, the Flannan Isles lighthouse still stands. Automated since 1971, the keeper's quarters preserved almost exactly as Joseph Moore found them. The case remains officially unsolved. No wreckage, no remains, no confession, no closure. If the storm was over and the sea was calm, what exactly did 3 men see out there that made all of them walk toward it?